actually mentioned a lot of LSU in the last week and a half. Wanted to give Matt Moscona on to just kind of clear the air on some things of what's happening. Matt, first start with these freshman defensive linemen. Heard a lot of buzz, some from Baton Rouge, some from just recruiting analysts, but it feels like, one, there may be room for them to actually compete, contribute, be a real part of what LSU is going to be this year. And then two, they just might be that good. What are your expectations for the incoming freshmen assisting this Blake Baker defensive line this upcoming season?
Yeah, cool. Well, three of them are going to play, and they're going to be part of the rotation. So, and in spring, remember, so Lamar Brown is probably the headliner, right? He's the number one player in the country. He's from U High and Baton Rouge. He was not an early enrollee, so he did not go through spring football. Now, he goes to school on LSU's campus, so he was there every day at practice, but he was just observing. He was not participating. But Lamar Brown's going to play edge, and he will be part of the rotation. Remember, they suffered an injury to Gabe Relaford during spring. In ACL, he's done for the year. So their numbers are already thin there. So Lamar Brown, like Cole, I wouldn't be surprised if literally the first defensive series he's rotating in. And then on the interior, you had Richard Anderson, who's a 5-star from New Orleans. He was the number one defensive tackle in the country. And then a kid out of Georgia named Deuce Geralds. When they would go 11 on 11 in spring, and I know Lane didn't do this at Ole Miss. I don't know why he did necessarily at LSU in his first spring, but he let us watch the entire practice for the second half of spring. So, I mean, everything. Come watch the whole thing. 11 on 11, scrimmages, all of it. And when they would run with the ones, they would rotate 5 defensive tackles. And 2 of them were Richard Anderson and Deuce Geralds, the true freshmen. So all that to say, Malik Blockton was one of them. I know your audience knows from his time at Auburn. They have a Clemson transfer named Stephylan Green. And then Dom McKinley, who's a former 5-star, as a junior now at LSU. But long answer, but all that to say, Cole, those 3 guys are absolutely part of the rotation and will play a lot.
Seriously, what do people say about going to school at University Lab? Is that super cool? Is that would people rather not do that? I know a lot of our listening audience doesn't really understand what it is. There's Southern Lab that's on the campus of Southern, University Lab that's literally on the campus of LSU, which the coolest thing, I think, maybe almost all time of Nick Saban's tenure was he had 3 starters from University Lab one time when he was coaching at Alabama. I didn't realize it until I did one of their games, and I'm like, oh, this guy's got 3 starters that went to high school on LSU's campus. That's pretty wild to think about. But what is that like?
So to the point you just made, it's interesting because there are some guys who just love it, and they grow up around LSU. I mean, in the shadows. If you go, Cole, if you go to a baseball game at LSU at Alec Box, and you look beyond the left field wall, the baseball field right there is U High's baseball field. I mean, it's literally on campus. So some guys love it, and they want to go to LSU because they grew up on campus, and it's a dream they've always had. And some guys want to get away. I don't think that's any different than any other high school in America in a college town. I'm sure guys that go to Auburn High, or some probably love Auburn and want to go there, and some want to get out of town. So, and Nick obviously had a great relationship from his time here with a lot of those guys. And look, U High has been a great football program over the last decade, really, 10 to 15 years. And so they've produced a lot of high-level Division I athletes in all different sports, but namely football. And so, sometimes LSU has to pick and choose. Are those guys that are – I'll give you an example. So Ryan Clark, who many people know, he was an ESPN analyst, played at LSU, was all SEC. Ryan's son Jordan went to U High, but LSU didn't offer Jordan. So Jordan went to Arizona State, then Notre Dame to finish his career. So sometimes there's that component of it, but really it just depends on the kid. But, Lamar Brown, for example, was one that wanted to stay home and always had an eye on LSU, and it really worked LSU's favor there.
All right, So Kiffin says earlier in the week, Sam Leavitt's full strength. This has been a slight concern of mine. I think it's been a little bit understated. People just automatically plug him in as, hey, everything's going to be great. But it's still an injury you had to overcome. It's one that in other instances in sports has been reoccurring, which I think you have to at least take into consideration. Where is sort of Sam Leavitt with the offense and his health based on what you know right now?
So during spring, so for those that don't know, he had a Lis Frank, and so he had surgery, missed basically half the season. The surgery was in November, or no, it was October. I'm sorry, and he missed basically half the season with Arizona State. He was limited in spring. He was out there every day, but mostly just in tennis shoes and standing around by the quarterbacks. Did very little. What we know as of now is that two things that we're aware of. Number one, Lane Kiffin said that on the GPS devices they use, he was up to 21 miles an hour running, so he's running full. And then Leavitt posted a video of him dunking on the goalpost on the indoor facility. So seems good. Now I can tell you I have not been to any of the workouts. Media is not allowed to go to any of these June workouts, but I have spoken to staff members, and they say he's a full go. He's fully participating in everything. And Cole, I agree with you, man. I'm of the belief that whatever LSU's ceiling is this year, they will only approach it if Sam Leavitt is healthy and playing like the guy that got Arizona State to the college football playoff 2 years ago. Because, like we just mentioned, the media got to watch a lot of spring, and there's talent on this team. I don't know that there's great depth, but one thing is true, that the other two quarterbacks that they brought in this portal cycle are talented young players, but they in no way look like they're ready to lead a playoff run. So if LSU is going to be that in year one under Kiffin, Leavitt's got to be healthy and ready to go.
Here's something Greg and I kind of disagreed on yesterday, and it's the offensive line. Listen, I've watched Jordan Seaton. His ceiling is as high as any offensive lineman in college football right now, no doubt. I mean, the David Sanders kid at Tennessee would be up there. There's not many that move like him, can do physically the things that he can do inside that frame. It's incredible. He's still one guy. There was more than one guy that was the problem last year, and some of it was scheme, system, play calling. I mean, you and I have talked about that on this show and your show before. But I don't think it just magically repairs itself. Not even repairs itself, but becomes good or great, which some people are just automatically assuming. What is your outlook of that group as we sit here today?
Yeah, there was good in spring and there was not good. They really had two choices, Cole, because they had, look, this is unequivocally true. The offensive line at LSU last year was the worst position group on the team. Like there's no debating that. It was the worst position group on the team. But they had a bunch of like highly recruited guys, some 4 and 5 stars that had played a lot. I think I counted up, they had maybe 9 or 10 guys that had SEC experience after last season. And so the new staff came in and they really had two decisions. Do you run it back with a bunch of guys who have experience but didn't play very well, or do you just blow it up and remake the whole thing? Well, they decided to blow it up and remake the whole thing. And the one guy they retained was Braylon Moore, the center, who was their best offensive lineman last year. Best of a bad group, but he had a solid year. And they just decided, let's go remake this whole thing. And so they've added guys with experience. I mean, you mentioned Seaton. Alu Baz, the guy who came in from Maryland, he's a 2-year starter. Actually started his career at Georgia, and is 2-year starter in the Big Ten. They got a battle at left guard. And one of the holdovers, Weston Davis, may end up winning the right tackle job. So look, the real challenge, not that you don't know this, but it's getting enough time on task where 5 can play together as one, and none of these guys have played together. So that's really the challenge. I think what you have with this group is a collection of players that are more accomplished college football players than what they had before, but you certainly lack continuity. And I think you still have a big question: who's going to play left guard and who's going to play right tackle?
How have your expectations changed since the Lane Kiffin hire was made and all the excitement was generated to the highest level to now? And that could be more so, could be more wins, fewer wins. Like where was your expectation then? Where is it today?
For year one, door. So the day they hired him, it would have been impossible to give you an expectation that day because that was before the portal and they remade the entire roster. I mean, Cole, they brought in 42 transfers. So, I mean, but if you asked me then, like when the roster was set after the portal, I think they went and spent like a team that expects to make the college football playoff this year. Now, I think looking at them, their first 22 could be as good as anybody in the SEC. I really worry about their depth on both sides of the ball, but I think that's probably a commonality and a reality for every team in college football today. I think it's really hard to build good veteran depth, but it really comes back to Leavitt, Cole. The team that I saw in spring, I would not project to make the college football playoff. But the team I saw in spring didn't have their starting quarterback. So I don't want, when people ask me this question, I don't want to cop out because, I mean, our job is to give opinions. But it really is, like, they have to have Sam Leavitt healthy and playing like a quarterback capable of getting a team to the playoff. Because if Leavitt's not there, if you tell me Leavitt gets hurt and they have to rely on Landon Clark or Hussam Longstreet, then I think this is probably a 7 or 8 win team. And for a roster that's pushing $50 million, that would be a massive disappointment.
It's going to be interesting to see. Appreciate the time today. Great catching us up on LSU, Matt. Look forward to doing it again soon. I guess we'll see you in Tampa.
Yep, see you in Tampa.
There you go.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish, the winner of the best roofing company in the best of Baton Rouge. There it is. FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, unique physique, unique aesthetics and wellness, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Code MAT15, 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 15% off your order. Okay, we'll say some good mornings. I was obviously on WJOX just now with Cole Cubelic. My apologies. I was a little slow, like just getting everything loaded this morning, which is why we started the show right with the interview. So, any event, let's blow and go, see what you got, fire away, questions. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Dale, Bitcoin under 60K, good. Buy more. Buy the dip, always. What's the old saying? Fortunes are made when there's blood in the streets. Is that how it goes? Let me see if I have that right. Fortunes are made when blood in the streets. Is that right? What's it called? How was that? Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your own blood. 18th century financier Baron Rothschild. There you go. Devin, good morning. I know you don't follow other SEC football teams. Yeah, I do. Follow the entire SEC. I just don't know the entire roster 1 to 85. Out of the bottom half of the SEC, which coach and team will have the most success this season? I think the team that I will be most interested to see is Auburn. Auburn has had a losing season in 5 of the last 6 years, but I think in bringing in Alex Golish with Brown, the quarterback, I think that helps the offense transition a little more seamlessly. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if I'm telling you Auburn's going to be a playoff team or anything, but I think they should be a bowl team this year. Hey, Dale, good morning. Well, golf, there you go. Michael, if the new 5-for-5 ruling from the NCAA does not go into effect until 2027 academic year, why would the LSU basketball roster be in question beyond the 1 or 2 players? Because the 5-to-play-5 rule might affect their longevity, but not this season. This season, they're still subject to, because they played pro basketball, they would still be subject to an NCAA waiver process. So to get those guys eligible, they still have to go through the waiver process. And if the NCAA denies their waiver, then they would have to be granted an injunction, meaning they have to go to court. So it would really only affect if those guys, like Michael Ruzic, for example, I think is 19 already. So, and has played internationally. So, like, I don't think he would have 5 years. Or is Ruzic the one that's 21? Let's see. So, maybe it was Salu Yang who I was thinking of. Either way, the point being, here it is. So, like, for example, Bryce Desire is 23. Okay. So Bryce Desire would not have 5 years to play college basketball, right? He would have effectively this one season, and that would be it. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Real Young Citrus, good morning. RSP, good morning. Antonio, what up? Dexton, how's the start to your day? Good start to the day, man. Woke up on the right side of the dirt and got my cold plunge in, did my whole morning health routine, drinking my coffee, just got to do an interview with Cole Cubelic, and now I'm talking to all y'all, and I'm fired up for it. Hey, Michael, good morning. Brett, good morning. Day 15. Let's go, haters. Michael, good morning. Do you think Danny Stutzman has a shot to be a starter this season? Probably not. I mean, look, they went and spent money to bring Caden Ellis back. And obviously you still have Pete Werner. Now, Stutzman could sort of usurp Werner. I don't think I'd be terribly surprised if that happened. Probably not at the beginning of the season, but I guess maybe as the season goes along, perhaps. Hey, Brad, good morning. What do you enjoy more, doing radio or writing articles? Probably radio. Hey, Patrick, good morning. Make it a great day. We woke up on the right side of the dirt. There you go, Patrick. I stole your line. Adam, good morning. Have a fantastic day. Awesome weekend. What do you think LSU's record will be regarding football? I get asked that every day, and every time I'm asked to say the same thing, Adam. I cannot give you the answer to that question until I see Sam Leavitt. Hey, Manny, good morning. Bubba, Truax, what up, man? Good morning. Hey, Danny, good morning. Getting excited about Kiffin's first year. Feeling like the Tigers are going to be solid. Yep, I think as you might have just heard me say in the interview with Cole, I think the first 22 are really good. I think depth is really tough in this day and age in college football, because if you can play, you don't stay as a backup. You go somewhere where you're going to play and get paid, right? So usually you have your starters and then probably a drop off to young guys. So, but yeah, I think it's a good roster, man. Spent a lot of money on it. Hey, Cameron, good morning. Any updates on the LSU baseball transfer targets? Any announcements anticipated soon? No updates, not that I've heard this week. So I knew they were supposed to bring Brenham, the lefty from Michigan, and Allen, the righty from Louisiana Tech. And then the report from On3, Pete Nakos, was about Angel Leia, the outfielder from Oregon. Again, I don't have, that's not my report. That was from Pete Nakos, that LSU was in the mix there. But it's been quiet. I think maybe part of the reason it's been quiet this week is the combine going out in Arizona. Tiger Diver, Singer, good morning. Abner Neal, what up? Good morning. Hey, Chad, good morning. Doing great work. Stay at it. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate you for being there. Good morning. Bobby, good morning. Chris, DJ, Odicus, good morning. 8 wins would be very disappointing. I agree with you, man, but I also look at a schedule that now has a 9th SEC game, and you play Clemson. And November, which is Bama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. That's after you already have Clemson, a trip to Ole Miss, home game against A&M, trips to Kentucky and Auburn. I mean, there's no such thing as a light schedule in the SEC. And there's things about LSU's schedule that I really like. And there's things about this team that I really like. But what I'm telling you is, if you don't have your starting quarterback, you just saw it. You saw what a team that had the number 1 transfer portal class, a bunch of veterans, proven guys, receivers galore. You didn't have your quarterback, and you went 7-6. So quarterback is important. I need Sam Leavitt to be healthy. JWB, good morning. Rocky, good morning. Watching Caitlin Clark get brutalized reminds me of what the 80s Pistons and Larry Bird. Yeah, and what a lot of what the Pistons would do to Jordan early in his career too. Matt, don't you find it interesting, that's a leading question, that a team that really pushes education and the prestige of its degree has very little turnover, thus greater retention and depth, it's an advantage? What team are you talking about? Team pushes education. Like you have to be more specific on what team you're talking about. Because I don't think anybody in college athletics has very little turnover. You could say it's relatively little turnover, comparatively speaking, but please give me an example of what you're talking about. Hey, Crazy Cajun, good morning. Scott, good morning. BK being hired by CBS, does that help LSU with the buyout? It does, yes. So part of Brian Kelly's contract is that he has mitigation for media. That is in his deal, something we talked about at the time. Actually, I need to do a locked on this, and I've been meaning to do it the last 2 days, just busy couple days, but I'll try to knock that out today. Let's see. On AFR, you stated you hope the Pelicans are not done with the roster. Do you believe it's time to trade Zion? I think you should absolutely consider trading Zion if you have a good trade package on the table. I think the thing that you have to realize and consider is that Zion Williamson is just not the player we all thought he was when they drafted him. Now, part of that has been injury, but this past year he was healthy. He played more games this year than any in his career, and he averaged 21 points, 5 boards, and 3 assists, shot 60% from the floor. And that's good, but it's not the guy that's the transcendent player that's going to carry your team to a title or to be a contender. Let's see. Hello from Trinidad and Tobago. Work hitch on survey vessel. Take care. That's awesome. Enjoy the time out there. Make that money. Matt, do you find it interesting a team like Notre Dame? They're good like Notre Dame. You see, that's where it comes into being relative. Okay. So like like Notre Dame, by the way, has now CJ Carr is the exception. Prior to that, they went with 3-4 straight years with transfer quarterbacks. So I'm just looking up their here you go. In this portal class, Notre Dame saw 28 players leave via the portal. 28. That's a third of your roster. That's the same as everybody else. So you're actually wrong to say that they don't transfer. Like, yeah, they do. They had 28 guys leave this year. And that's a place that, was on the doorstep of the playoff last year, was in the playoff 2 years ago, has a very popular head coach. And the things you mentioned, education, culture, whatever, all that stuff. So, but nobody is immune. Nobody. No program is immune. Hey, Steven, good morning. At Barrett, tell Catman from the ticket you stole one of his biggest P1s. Tired of the soap opera, the Cowboys, and their moron. Okay. I guess talking about Jeff Catlin. So I actually texted with Jeff earlier this week. I need to text about him with something different. And Jeff's not going to be there, man. I think he's going to be on vacation with his family, he told me. So I'm bummed. I was hoping to get to see Jeff. Jeff is the program director of the Ticket in Dallas. And they, in one of the events that they do that I learned about at Barrett, I really want to mirror here. And they call it ticket stock, like Woodstock, but after the ticket. And it is a massive free event that is... I wanted to go to Ticket Stock this year, and I planned to be there. And Jeff invited me and was like, "We'll give you all access to whatever. Come shadow the whole thing," and was very kind. Which is one of the reasons I love going to Barrett, because you make those types of connections. But it ended up being the day that I was in Houston for UFC, and I tried to get several of our other managers to go, and no one was available that weekend. So a little better planning this year, but I do plan to go because that's an event I want to bring here. It's incredible. Real Young Citrus, I agree with your assessment. Go Tigers. Hey, Jay, good morning. I think you should play the jingle twice to make up for the day you missed and keep the streak going. Doesn't work that way. I mean, it just doesn't work that way, but here you go.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish Built. Parish Built. Parish Built. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
All right, Parish Construction and Roofing. Jim, where are you planning to eat in Tampa? Not sure, man. If you got recommendations, let me know. But typically, the one night that we go have a nice steak dinner and eat out is the guys from Super Talk Mississippi have been kind enough the past handful of years to invite me to tag along with them on that night. Last year's we went to Bones in Atlanta, which was maybe the best steak experience I've ever had in my life. It was... I want to go back to Atlanta just to eat at Bones to try to recreate that. Say, okay, was this really as good as I thought? It was otherworldly. I got to get going. Swade, good morning. Sorry if I'm late to the party. I think the possibility of Sorsby going after the NFL is insane. It's almost like he and his team aren't letting the news cycle turn over. Well, Swade, the other thing too is, man, the NFL can hold a grudge. The NFL will absolutely blacklist players, and the NFL does not need Brendan Sorsby. So if you were trying to sue the NFL, that is stupid. Stupid. So I'm with you, man. Big time with you. Hey, Jason, good morning. Brad, other than cold plunge and supplements, what is your morning wellness routine? It's kind of that, but it is extensive, man. I wake up, I tongue scrape. So if you don't tongue scrape, look into that. Get a tongue scraper. You'd be surprised how many toxins your body purges via your tongue when you sleep. And when you scrape, you're like, oh my God, see what comes off of your tongue. It's incredible. So I tongue scrape. I have my supplement protocol, which includes my Perfect Amino, my Baja Gold sea salt, my hydrogen water, my 3 rose supplements, which are creatine, curcumin with resveratrol, and I can never remember the last one. It's an antioxidant, glutathione. And then I have my 10X supplements, which are my multi, TMG, magnesium, zinc, D3 with K2. I take my berberine. And then I do my BPC 157 shot, my NAD plus shot. Friday's my day for my HRT. So I did that shot this morning. Do my cold plunge, obviously. Did a lot. I feel good. Feel awesome. Except when I stay up till 2 a.m. watching Better Than Ezra and then have to do a show and then have to get up at 5. That doesn't feel as awesome. Okay, I got to get going, y'all. It's 7:53. I'm late. As always, shout out to all of our sponsors. Brock, remember Brock Rock and Wine, Saturday, August 1st. Brock Rock and Wine in Tiger Stadium, brortho.com. Parrish, we're giving away 2 fortified roofs. 1 in Baton Rouge, 1 in New Orleans. More info, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Unique physique, unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Book a session with Crystal Poche. Boatcock Brothers Premium Cigars. Code MAT15, MAT15, 15% off your order. And, of course, our great friends at FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. I trust the lake. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Locked on LSU is live. AFR3. We'll see you. Peace. I'm out.